Daniel Bruce Levin. Can I call you Danny on the podcast?
Absolutely, Danny. Is all you can call me.
Perfect. I'll introduce you as
you can call me anything you want, but Danny's.
When I introduce you, I'll introduce you with the name that's your author name, Daniel Bruce, so they can find you easy,
Perfect.
and then I'll refer to you as Danny, which makes it so much easier for me.
Please. I would love that.
As soon as I connect someone's name the first time, first time we communicated, you signed off as Danny. As soon as I connected, that's all that I ever know you as, so it's very difficult for me to switch it after that.
That's all that I am, actually, so it's okay.
Awesome.
I don't think I'm old enough to be a Daniel yet.
All right, we're streaming there. Good. I hope the construction in the background. Can you hear that? A little rumbling in the background? Is that noticeable?
I actually don't hear anything. So
Perfect. They're doing.
But if you had earphones, it would probably make it even better. Do you have earphones?
It does, but then it doesn't allow me to stream, which is that's like the give or take, because what they're hearing on the stream is what.
Of course.
Yeah, it's what. So that's why I make sure to talk, I project and speak right into it. I'm kind of sacrificing a little bit of my quality, not much. I've compared it for the people to be able to live stream. So you guys are welcome out there. Those of you guys tuning in live, I'm sacrificing for you guys. I definitely. Because I tried to figure out a way to be able to stream it and let them hear what's going on in my headphones, but it's so faint that I can't stream it. Yeah. So there's probably a workaround that I haven't discovered yet.
It would be really neat if you could get them to hear what's happening in your head, not your headphones.
Same thing that's coming out of my mouth. They'll hear it in a second. Okay, you guys on Instagram, 1 second. I'm gonna tune off and tune right back. I have to share this onto a Facebook group that I just forgot to share it, and then we'll start. So I'll be right back. 1 sec. Okay, 1 sec, Danny. Share it into a Facebook group. Share to a page. Post. Share to the group. All right, awesome. All right, global. Boom. Okay, done. We are started. All right, hitting record. Let's do it. All right, Instagram, getting ready to do a live Enlightened conversation with Daniel Bruce Levin, who's an author and visionary and awesome human. We've been connecting here before we get started, so let's do it.
Fabulous.
All right, hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of Enlightened Conversations. Really excited for today and to introduce you guys to an awesome guest. We have Daniel Bruce Levin. I'm going to refer to him as Danny from here on out, who is in San Diego, California, one of my absolute favorite cities on the planet. And me and Danny connected not too long ago just on Facebook and saw the beautiful things he was doing in the world. And Danny is an author of a book called Mosaic, which we'll get into in a second. I love I was reading a little bit about it as far as how it reminds me of just when I read about it on Amazon, of The Alchemist and like a little story like that. It was awesome, like the description. I actually look forward to looking at that more. And a great book title, or as far as the book cover, it's hardback book over on Amazon. So we'll get into that in a second. But Danny is we were just relating here on before the podcast started recording. I'm excited to flow with him now and introduce you guys to him. So without further babbling from me, I want to introduce you guys to Danny. And Danny, if you could share with the audience so they're more familiar with you, who you are, what you do, why you do it, all these good things.
Wow, big question. Those are big questions. If I figure that out before we're over, I'll be happy. No, it's been really interesting because I've had the opportunity in the course of my lifetime to live a lot of different lifetimes. And so when someone asks me who I am, it's often a little bit confusing to me because which lifetime do I pick up on? I've had the opportunity to sit with some of the richest people in the world, not in audiences, but as friends, to sit at their dinner tables, to know their children, to know their parents, to know their families, to walk with them in the work that they do. And I've also had the incredible, incredible blessing to sit on street corners with some of the poorest of the poor, and to sit with them and get to know them and break bread with them, just like I did with the richest people. I sat on cardboard boxes with the poorest people, and though the meals were different and the ambiance was different, what I realized is every one of us are the same. No matter how much money we have, no matter what color our skin, no matter what religion we practice, no matter what border we live behind, no matter how rich we are or how poor we are, no matter how big our house or if we don't have a house, it doesn't matter. All of us want the same exact things. We want to be loved and accepted. We want to be listened to and heard. We want to be acknowledged and validated. And when I realized somewhere along the line that that's the easiest thing in the world to do, I can do that. Like, I don't need a college degree to do that. I don't need to belong to a religious organization. I don't need to be ordained in some, philosophy. All I need to do is be able to sit and listen and love and accept and acknowledge and validate. How simple is that? That when it comes down to it, that's really who I am. I hold the space for people to tell me anything they want to tell me. And in doing that, what happens is they free themselves often of so much of their pain and so much of their suffering because they just put it into this container that I hold for them. When I was a kid growing up, I'm not sure I've grown up yet, so that would still be present. But when I was a kid growing up, I remember at 4 years old, sitting on my back lawn, waiting for the trash man to come every Friday. And I was just intoxicated with the trash man. They had this truck, and they would stand there were two of them that would stand on the back of the truck, and they would get down and they would get the cans and they would pick them up and throw them at this truck that magically ate up all the trash, and this truck could take all the trash from blocks and blocks and blocks that people would put in it. And I just wanted to be a trash man my whole life. And my mom said to me, "Danny, you're brilliant. You tested your IQ tested at like genius level. You can't decide you want to be a trash man and throw that all away." And I said, "Mom, I just love it." And one day the trash men saw me. I'd been sitting there months and months and months, and one of them looked over and said, "You want to ride with us?" And I went, "Are you kidding?" I felt like I died and went to heaven. I got on the trash truck with them, and my mom came running out from the kitchen because she was wondering, like, what are those guys doing? And I said, "Mom, it's okay." And I worked a half a block with them, helping them pick up the cans, helping them throw it in. No, it's amazing. When I think about what I wanted to be as a 4-year-old, is really exactly who I am now. I'm a trash man. I hold the trash can out for people to put everything that troubles them, everything that ails them, all the things that hurt them, all the pains that they have in their life. And the beauty of the compassion of being a trash man is if I can give them 1 second, 2 seconds, 5 minutes of feeling what their life's like when they empty themselves of that burden of carrying those pains, and they just feel what it's like to be without them. They can come and get them. I don't throw their can away unless they say, "I'm ready for you to put it in the trash truck." And the trash man is one of my characters in my book, The Mosaic. And he's one of my favorite of all time. Because if my son would say to me now, "Dad, I want to be a trash man like that," I would invest every dollar I had in helping him do that. Because I think the world needs trash men like that are able to relieve people of their pain, even momentarily, in hopes that when they feel themselves free of that pain, they never take it back. They just say, "Put it in the truck and grind it up and drive it off." If they have a choice, they can have it back anytime they want.
Mm.
So I'm a trash man.
I love it. I love talking to authors. That was such a beautiful illustration, like how you just illustrated that. I can relate to that on so many levels. You just inspired me to share a few things with the audience.
Please.
I love sharing so much because I could relate to you as far as, and I'm so appreciative of it now, as far as just when I was a kid growing up, and I've been in areas where I'm walking around, like my parents don't even know this, but if they watch this, then they'll know now. I'm walking around like the projects, like just because I'm like my friends live there, and like I'm going to there's girls that I like that live there, and so I'm like taking the bus at 10 and doing. So I was like in that level in the inner city, and then thankful also that my mom took me to schools outside of my district where she would drive for way longer than. And I was like, Mom, no, I just want to go to school here, like where we live. And she's like, No, you're not going to that school. And I was like, Well, all my friends go there. She's like, No, you're not going to that school. And appreciate it now. So I got to experience life in just all different, economic scales and just different walks of life, people. So I've never looked at people as anything more than people, and us all being, connected. And taking that further now, as I've become more aware of who and what we all truly are, knowing that every human being on this earth can feel, happy, joyful, loving, blissful, and powerless, depressed, sad, angry, and everything in between. We all have, and it's part of the human experience. I can have compassion for anyone that is maybe not experiencing life right now in this moment in a way that they would want to experience it, or that maybe I would want to experience, but not judge or condemn them, because, and taking that a step further, knowing that they're just a different expression here in the physical of the same non-physical energy that all of us truly are. They're just a different expression of it. So we're the same. We're made up of the same stuff. Like, we're the same. We're just expressing life. We're choosing to express life differently. Doesn't make me any better or worse than anyone, or anyone else better or worse than me. So I love, that's why I know you, and that's why I can connect with people so quickly and easily. I know you're the same way, because I just see us all as people that maybe I haven't met you yet or didn't know you exist just yet. But as soon as I do, and my attention is on you and your attention is on me, now we could just enjoy life and enjoy a conversation or whatever life leads to. So I love everything you illustrated right there. It's beautiful.
And if you think about a mosaic, just the image of a mosaic, it's not really what I write about in the book. The book is a story about a boy who loses his parents 2 years apart on the same day. And when he asks the adults where his parents are, they tell him they're in a place called heaven. So he sets out in search of a place called heaven. But the people he meets along the way are not the rabbis and the swamis and the shintos and priests and the ministers and the Zen monks and all that. He meets common ordinary people. He meets the trash man. He meets the gardener. He meets the juice man. He meets the blind woman. He meets the homeless guy. He meets the street artist. He meets the gardener and the waitress. And he wonders, why am I sitting here with these people? Like, what are they going to show me about heaven? Because he expected he would meet other people. But he said, I'm here, I'm sitting with them. Why don't I at least listen to the story that they tell? And when he listens to their story, what he realizes very quickly is the person he initially came up to isn't at all the person that they are. Just listening to them for a few minutes, he realizes there's something so much more to these people than you could ever imagine. And he realizes the world he sees is not the world that is. It's just the world that he sees. And after having that happen over and over and over and over and over again, out of the corner of his eye, he sees a monk unzipping the sky and inviting him to come through to a parallel reality where he introduces him to the wise one, who's the keeper of the mosaic. And so one of the things that the book talks about is the fact that nothing is as it seems. You may think somebody is here doing something, but it's never it's never what you think it is. And so give this mosaic is made up beautifully because of all the different colors, all the different shapes, all the different textures, all the different broken pieces that remember what they used to be. But then when they come together as all these different broken pieces to create this artistry that's now called the mosaic, they're more exquisite than anything they could have ever been. Because together we are more, together we are better, together we function greater, together we figure things out better, together we can do things that we can't do on our own. And the world now exists in a very separate reality where everybody tries to divide and conquer, and you don't do this and you don't do this. That's not the way of the mosaic. The way of the mosaic is to bring the pieces together, and some pieces will only connect tip of one corner to tip of another corner. They have nothing in common except this tip. But the fact that this tip connects allows the mosaic to stay whole. And so it continues all of the energy of the mosaic and continues the artistry by just finding this small place to connect. And if we would find that in our own lives, if instead of looking for all the places where we disagree, all the things that we want to fight about, all the things that you don't do, that I do, that I want you to do, that I wish you would do, that I do that, but I think about, where's that one place where we connect? What we would find is there'll be more places that come that we connect, that we see about. Because we start to look at those things. And I have friends, and I'm sure you do too, Noah, that believe such weird things. I would never believe what they believe, but they're my friends, and I love them, and they love me, and we accept each other, and we're made richer by the fact that we can listen to each other and hear each other and allow each other to say what we feel, because diversity is what brings innovation. And that innovation is what brings change. And that change is what makes the world that we live in a better place than it was before. I better get off my pulpit.
I love it. I love that. What you just described is what I describe as one of the biggest human challenges right now, which is the illusion that we're separate. And it's all it is an illusion. And I give people the example of, before, our lifetime, before our parents' lifetime, before our grandparents' lifetime, going way, way, way back, when people lived together and, we had all these technology before all that, when people lived together in tribes and everybody brought to the tribe their little piece that was valuable to them. Like, if you could fish, you would be fishing. If you could hunt, you'd be hunting. If you could cook and, build things or whatever it was, everybody had something that they did for the community, which is what allowed the community to thrive. And if everybody decided to be individual, then they would just get picked off one by saber-tooth tigers and things. Like, it's just, they needed the strength of the whole. So, as, in our lifetime now, it's, a lot of times we've forgotten that, if we ask questions of, how can we all, thrive? How can we all be abundant? How can we all enjoy our lives? Most people are asking questions on how can I, and there's nothing wrong with the I questions. We all have personal desires. I just also encourage people to start asking the we questions as well, because it's really interesting when we ask those, the answers that we get, and you start having, people that you can collaborate with and connect with and create things with that, like you said, Danny, we can never create on our own. Like, some of the things, like everything I'm doing right now would not be as valuable or for anyone if it was just me doing it. Because I just have one life experience that I'm flowing this non-physical energy through. And it doesn't make it not valuable, but if I'm adding other people's life experiences that I haven't had, and now I have new awarenesses for me, and it just makes something way greater than I could create by myself. And I realized that. It took me a lot of years to realize that, but I realize that now, and I'm encouraging people to really think about how can we, especially right now, as we kind of all are coming together more so because of what we're experiencing right now on the planet.
Yeah. I have a sort of a saying that I often say, that the lie has become so easy to believe we call it the truth. And the truth has become so hard to believe we call it a lie. And the lie is that we're separate. Like, here you are, this beautiful man in Miami, and here I am, this old guy in San Diego. And look how different we look, and how would anybody say we're the same? How is it possible? And on a physical level, we're definitely different, but that's only one level. Quantum physics and metaphysics are leading the way towards understanding that we are a world full of energy, not just form. And in the energy that we have, what Einstein spoke of it, and great scientists are speaking of it, of the fact that the exhale that you have right now is my inhalation, because there is no space between us. There is only just this energy that flows. And when you look at the body under a high-powered microscope, you don't see form. You see cells moving in energetic patterns. You see something that very much resembles the stars at night, that from far away you can see that they are all sort of, there's so much space between them. But when we look at our body, we think, oh my God, I'm this body and you're that body, and we're different. And so because you're that color and I'm this color, we have to fight each other. Or because you practice that religion and I have to practice this religion, we have to fight each other. But that's all BS. It's all the myth that is breaking down. And one of the things COVID-19 is doing for us right now is it's sent all of us to our rooms. It's like giving us a timeout. And it said, let's take a pause for a little while. Let's reevaluate the way we're looking at the world. Some people are doing it, some people aren't. Some people, we all talk about the new norm, but what is the new norm? What will that new norm be? It won't be a return back to where we were, unless that's where we take it. Then it'll be the old norm. But for those of us who are conscious and feel like it's time to create that new norm, to bring that place where we are united, we stand, divided, we fall, we say it, but we just don't live it, we don't practice it. And some of us practice it. I don't mean to say we don't, because when you say we, that's not fair, because there's some of we that does. But what I think is so important, Noah, is it's great to ask the questions, but we then have to take time to listen to the answers. And what I'm finding in the world today is very few people are listening. When I ask people, what are you here for? What's your purpose? So many people say to me, I don't know. I mean, what do you mean, what am I here for? I don't know. And they just continue doing the same thing they've always done, getting caught, feeling that the faster they run, the more busy they are, the better it is, the more they occupy their time. But all of this running keeps them from going into themselves and discovering who they are. Part of what I like to do with people is slow people down and just say, hold it. Before you run anymore, reintroduce me to yourself. Reintroduce yourself to yourself. Who are you? That's why when you said, who are you? I went, whoa, big question. Because that's the question I ask. But this is a long answer to come to the answer to that question. Right? Who really are we? What are we doing here? If we don't know what we're doing here, every road will take us there. We'll get lost. Every road, we'll run wherever we run, and we'll go, it'll be fast. We'll think this is, look what all I'm doing. But when we know where we're going, the road becomes very clear. When we have a GPS in our car, it tells us exactly how to get to where we're going. When we turn off, it says reroute, U-turn, make the change. That's what we have to have in our life. But if we don't have any purpose, if we don't know where we're headed, there is no reroute. Because we're just exploring. And some of that's fun. But when you get a purposeful group of people together, when you get people that know themselves, that are kind to themselves, that are vulnerable, that are purposeful, and they come together, that's when people like Margaret Mead say, it's a small group of people really that changes the world. Because they know exactly what they're doing, and they know exactly where they're headed, and they help each other get there. We're not looking for billions. I'm starting a movement called the Minority of 1 Billion. Let the other 7 billion in the world do whatever they want to do. I'm looking for those 1 billion people who want to see this world be a place that they would more naturally want to hand down to their children. Not one that they say, well, it has potential. It could be, but there's so many things in it that I don't like. Let's take the world that we don't like and recreate it into the world that we do like. So that when we're asked, is this the world that you would like your children to inherit? We unequivocally say yes. How beautiful would it be to create that world together?
I'm right there with you, brother.
Yeah.
I already told Danny before we started that everything he says is going to inspire me to say things. It always, because I just love the energy that we flow when we're having conversations where the intention is to uplift and empower. Where the energy can always goes is very fun, and it never is about the specific words that come out. But the words that come out are always from that energetic space, and where they go and what we talk about is awesome. Before I share what I'm inspired to share, just because I just noticed this, and I'm gonna edit this out of the recording. I think your beard when you or is there jewelry? What's that? Yeah, that sounds like jewelry, but it's not.
No, this is my microphone here, so I guess it's my beard may be hitting.
Oh, there's your microphone over there. Okay, by your beard. So yeah, so your beard is making it makes it sound like that, and it's
No.
subtle. Right now, it's not. That's why I barely even notice it. But on the recording, it might show up more. Not a big deal, but
someone said that in a recording that I just made yesterday with somebody. So I'm going to hold my beard up here.
That's going to make it rough for you to talk. What you could do is okay, so that's an iPhone microphone.
Should I just take my phone, my headphone
if you
headset
connect
off?
No. What it will do is if you take the left side of your iPhone headphones and connect that little strap to the other side.
Oh yeah.
Then it won't move. I think that might do it.
Okay, let's see if that happens. If that works.
Only reason I even knew that because I had another guest recently with a beard, and I was like, we were trying to figure it out, and I was like, oh, it's your beard.
Oh yeah.
Only reason I knew.
So is that better?
That probably will make it better.
Okay, cool.
I still hear it subtly, but
you still hear it? Let me see.
Let me hear without the headphones, because just in case it makes the audio better. It just sounds like you're playing the fun little instrument, the little samba.
I think I need to change my settings on my things. Can you hear me now?
That will work because I'll raise your volume when this comes out.
Hold on, let me change my system preferences here. Sound. Sorry, guys.
That's
weird.
The fun of the live. It's not going to make me forget the things that I'm inspired to share right now. I'm excited to tell you guys this in the audience. Probably my favorite thing to know as a human.
Okay, so how's that?
That's perfect. Yep.
Is that any better?
No, yeah, you're good. And your volume went up. So yeah, you're good. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, I turned my volume up. It was in my ears. I could hear you now. Now you're not in my ears. Now I can let my beard rock and roll, right?
I wasn't gonna have you holding any that would not. I want the frequency to go wherever it's gonna go right now. I love it. Well, what Danny inspired me to say right there, that's so important. And when I discovered that, because when you mentioned purpose and you mentioned discovering that, and what allowed me to really discover what that was for me, and it's always evolving for all of us as we live more life. There's going to be new things that are like, ooh, I want this to be a part of my journey as well. Which what Danny mentioned as far as the billion, the minority of billion. I'll let him say exactly what he called that. If you probably asked him 5 years ago, maybe he already had that idea, maybe not. But as his life evolved, it's just he sees that this is something that he also wants to do on his journey. Which is awesome. I totally can relate to what he said specifically when it comes to that. But really what helped me is discovering that whatever question that I had, whatever I felt like I wanted personally in my life, whatever I wanted to experience, I could ask, the universe to show me how I could move in that direction. And then when I learned that what I want for me, I could create for humanity as well and for anybody else that also wants those things, whether it be to be fulfilled, to be free, to have fun. These are my favorite words. I just like to wake up in the morning and ask myself what sounds most fun, what sounds most fulfilling, and just go live that out. And so since I want that for me, I'm like, well, how can I create that for humanity as well? Because I'm sure there's many other people out there, at least millions, that also want to have fun and to be fulfilled in what they're doing. It's like, how can I create that? And the answers that we get from the we question, like we talked about, are just much different. And so, and then now it's like that fulfillment for me is what I would consider to be, my part of my purpose, as far as why I'm here. Really, in truth, like the world is gonna expand, regardless of, what we do. It's just the nature of the universe is expansion. And at the same time, if we can, just be connected with, the divine, God, love, universe, all it is, like just be connected with this infinite power to where we can ask these questions, receive these answers, and then flow in that direction. That's what really is enjoyable for us. Like when we're moving in a direction of where we feel like we're having fun and fulfilled, like that's in alignment with, the purpose for us being here as well. So I wouldn't say someone like you all have the purpose to do this. That's not how I speak it necessarily. But you discover that because there's always things here that we're drawn to more than, everybody's drawn to different things. And I just love knowing that I can ask the questions for humanity, not just all for Noel. It's just a different set of questions.
So what you're telling me really makes me understand something about you also, which is really interesting that that I bet you understand, but you didn't mention it. Because there is something so beautiful in asking the question, but if we are already too full to the brim with information, then whatever answer is going to come in is going to spill over onto the floor. We're never going to get it. So what you have the capacity to do feels like is to allow yourself to be empty enough to actually receive the answer. And what I would really invite people to do if they want to be a part of your process, and I don't know that this is your process, but it's certainly my process, that in order to receive, we're very good at giving. We know how to give. We know how to give. We want to give. We always give. So many people give, but those same people that give are scared to death to receive. And so when they receive, when receiving comes, they're not as vulnerable. They're not as open because they're sort of full. There are so many people that are teachers, teaching, helping, sharing, giving, all the beautiful things that sound beautiful, until you realize that in the generosity of giving, there's also a generosity to receiving. Because that generosity of receiving allows someone else to give to us as well. And when we receive what they have to say, we're being generous to the gift that they're giving us. But so many people are shut down there. And what I love in what you're saying, because it's inherent in what you're saying, because for you to ask for yourself and receive, and for ask for the world and receive, it also means that you're leaving space within yourself empty, so that that space can be filled. And so many of us are scared of emptiness. And emptiness is the greatest blessing we could ever have. Because when we're empty, we will be filled. Tony Robbins has a great saying. I'm a fan of his. I'm not a huge fan like a lot of people, but this place, I love what he says. He says, if you're feeling despair, if you feel that things can't get worse, if you feel that you're at the bottom of the barrel, that everything is going against you, if you feel like the world is crumbling right in front of your eyes, celebrate, because victory is near. Because in that emptiness, in that devastation, there's only one thing left to happen. You're about ready to be filled up. And when you're filled, you will celebrate and experience a new world. And the whole process of getting to where we want to go in everything is receiving, clearing, receiving, clearing, receiving, clearing. Always making space. That's why for me the trash man is such a beautiful image. Because he comes to our neighborhood every Monday morning. Every Monday morning we put out our trash. Every Monday morning he takes it away. And we get more trash, and he comes in next Monday and he takes it again. So we want to continue to empty ourselves so that we can receive this incredibly beautiful energy, new energy. And so often I say to my kids, if we don't clear out I don't know how to say it other than this word, pardon me, the shit that's there, and we don't take the time to clean it out. We don't want to. I'm not asking people to build a house there and live there, but find where those pockets are where things are not good for you. Because the more nectar you put in on a platform of shit, it's still not going to taste very good. So we got to go into those places where we don't want to go. That's sometimes why a coach is so valuable. That's sometimes why working with somebody else. That's sometimes why paying somebody to do this work. Because our friends are too kind to us. They won't push us to go to those places. They won't say to us, I'm going to stay with you until we get that shit out of here. And when you work with somebody, whether it's Noel or me or somebody else that you have to trust them, because they're going to push you to places where you don't want to go. But when in going there, I can't wait for you to email me or text me or call me or just send smoke signals up. I'll find them. Where you say, Danny, I finally tasted nectar without the shit. It tastes so good. And the more we can keep cleaning it out, the more we can keep getting rid of all the stuff that no longer belongs and just allow this new energy to come in for ourselves, for our planet, for the people that we live in, for our galaxy. How beautiful a life is that? And we don't have to know how it's going to happen. We don't have to figure out all the details. We just have to say, help me to have this reality. The world is a benevolent, kind force. It wants you to have everything you want to have and way more. So when you say, help me to have this reality or something better, it will provide it. It may not be like a 60-second McDonald's burger. And where most of us get in trouble is between the ask and the receive. We start to question it. We start to not believe it's possible. We start to say, oh, see, that happens to me all the time. It happens for other people. It never happens to me. And we negate the request all along the way. So we just have to, but all we have to do is ask one time with our heart and soul and just stay open and allow the gift to come. It will take us to worlds that we never even imagined possible. It'll fulfill dreams that we didn't even know we had. It'll give us things that we couldn't even imagine finding the handle for if we were looking day and night for it. Because this energy knows what's best for us. So I love that's what you do.
It's a beautiful example, Danny, of we can only see in another what is present in ourselves in that moment. And I appreciate you pointing that out in me because we're just reflecting each other right now. And what Danny just described is beautiful when it comes to once we ask, like you mentioned, my favorite thing that I figured out, and you guys have noticed if you guys listen to anything that I'm sharing, I have lots of favorite things. So don't worry. Like I'll probably say that about some other things too, but really one of my favorite things to know about life is I don't have to know how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, where it's going to be.